Wednesday. Ready to rock.
What are you guys practicing?
One more time?
Aduri and Aziz, are they full today, or what's the?
Yeah, I think everybody will practice. Maybe some will be more limited, but I'm encouraged where everybody's at.
Dave, do you change your practices a little bit because the intensity that's coming Sunday, as far as they're going to put them in pads another day, or more 1v1s or anything like that, or you just stick to the same?
No, I mean we've probably monitored our practice schedule a few times here over the course of the season. We'll stay with what we've been doing here the last few weeks.
How much does
We will be indoors.
How much does it feel like? You said normal Wednesday. How much does it feel like a normal Wednesday here to you?
Feels like a normal Wednesday. Yeah. Get ready to go. Same practice, same meetings, same schedule. So, other than there's a few more people here that I haven't seen in a while.
How do you view the opportunity, Coach, that's in front of you?
Put everything we got into it. So that's what we'll try to do.
Dave, with Aduri, have you at all waited till this moment, like to make sure he's, as ready as he completely could be? For instance, could he have played early, but this was sort of the end game for you?
Yeah, I'd say with all our players, not just Aduri, when they're ready to play is when our medical staff, feels comfortable with them playing. They have to feel comfortable. So we would never put a player out there that's doesn't feel ready or isn't ready. So I think he's made progress here the last couple weeks in practice, and hopefully he'll continue to do that this week. But again, with all our guys, I'm encouraged with where we're at.
Brian, you've been pretty good at keeping the guys grounded each week, such as yourself. But because this is a playoff game, do you have to reinforce to them, don't let the moment get too big?
Yeah, I think it goes back to consistency and how we operate. Stay true to what we've been doing. Obviously, there's only 6 games this weekend, so we all understand that. But it's a privilege to be in the playoffs, to have an opportunity to compete. And our consistency with what we do and our process and our preparation, that's the most important.
Has anything changed, now that you're in the playoffs, as far as managing guys' workloads within the game, like maybe in the regular season, you do that more in the playoffs, I can play?
No, I'd say the same thing, Dan. Like we try to do what's best for all of our players. Manage, not manage. Whatever we think is the best for our team and the best for them, that's what we'll do.
I would imagine preparation as you're leading up to this, when the coaching staff's putting it together, you're looking back a lot on the last game you played with them. When the team arrives this morning and you meet with them, is it all forward to this game, or do you look back with them at the past game, or is that in the past?
No, I think, look, anytime you play a team for a second time, Washington, Philadelphia, Dallas, you always watch the previous game. That's part of the preparation process. But we are, full steam ahead on, preparing, watching the games that, they have played after us. We've already watched all the games before that, so it's really like playing another division team that you just played not a few weeks ago, and doing everything you can to prepare the right way.
What did you learn from facing Justin Jefferson the last time?
That he's really good, but we knew that going in. So again, I said this before when we played him. There's not a lot of teams that or a lot of players, a lot of teams that can just stop him. He's he's one of the best in the league. He's a dynamic player. He's got a lot of production. He's an exceptional route runner. He's a very tough player to defend.
Brian, sometimes in the NBA when there's a player who's like outstanding, you always hear coaches say, we're going to let him get his points, we're going to worry about the other guys. With a guy like Jefferson, do you focus on him in that regard, and how do you balance that aspect?
No, I think we just try to put a plan together that we think is best for competing against their offense. They have a lot of good players on their offense. Hawkinson killed us, so Cousins is an excellent quarterback. Cook can take it the distance. They have a lot of talented, skilled players, a good quarterback. We're going to have to play a really good, sound defensive game.
Can you just talk a little bit, Brian?
Sorry.
What do you make of them they had a lot of success against your blitz last time? What do you make out of that?
That they execute it well. Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about the job that the front office has done to get you guys to this point? You had a lot of injuries, a lot of roster turnover.
Sure.
Bringing guys in off the streets and waiver claims and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think they do. Joe and his staff, BB, Hick, Tim, all the rest of the guys, the scouting assistants, the pro scouts, I mean the college scouts. It's a team effort. I think they do a fantastic job. We have guys in here, every week, usually, a bunch of them, and I think they have a good beat on the league, and they've done a great job.
What's your role in that?
I come out here with them, I watch them, we discuss it after workouts, we talk. I mean, not just myself, the rest of the coaches, the position coaches, the coordinators, it's all a group effort.
Does your alignment between the coaching staff and the front office help accelerate the curve for the guys you brought in really from the beginning of getting guys in? It seemed like guys were here to try out, and then within 2 weeks they're logging a lot of snaps on game day. Does that make that curve a little bit easier to overcome?
I just think it's a group effort, Art. I think that, the scouting staffs have done their research on players, not just the physical part of it, but go back and, they have to have the qualities that we look for in terms of being intelligent and being tough and being dependable. And then, once we see them work out, and now it's the coach's job to get the players ready, whether that's, in 3 days, whether that's in 2 weeks, whatever it may be. But it's just such a group effort. Everybody's involved in it.
Brian, you've been around a lot of playoff games, often dealing with quarterbacks. Is there something about quarterbacks in the playoffs that you notice that sometimes they try to do too much, sometimes they and is there anything that you're trying to impart in Daniel with that?
No, it just goes back to being consistent and do the things we need to do to prepare for this game. That's really what it comes down to, how we play on Sunday and how we prepare during the week. Those are the most important things.
Is there something about a quarterback playing in his first playoff game?
I've coached a few of them. I think, again, it's the next game, and we're, again, privileged and honored to be part of it. But, the things that got you to have an opportunity to be here, that's what you got to lean on.
Brian, as much as you say it is the next game, is there something different about the playoffs that you can impart to your players who might be experiencing it for the first time?
Yeah, win, move on, lose, go home. I mean, it's not overly complicated. I mean, we're playing a game. Again, you got to earn it to get there, and now you got to do the things you need to do to try to play your best and coach your best. Hi.
You have just one player left from the last time the Giants went to the postseason. I mean, is there any theme at all about that? Like, this was the team that got back there, embraced this opportunity, kind of a theme, or?
Nope. No. Just, again, do what we need to do to try to play a good game. That's really the message.
Brian, you've talked about preparation and consistency all year. Are there butterflies still going into a game, and is that just natural?
I don't know. It's probably different for each person. I've coached players that throw up before every game. Whether it's the first game of the season, a preseason game, a playoff game. Every player is different. I think every coach is different. The big thing is be yourself, prepare to play a good game, coach a good game, and do everything you can do during the week to put yourself in a good position.
Brian, are you excited for your fan base, and what have they meant to your team this year?
Yeah, they've been great. We've had outstanding attendance. Every home game has been, great. The away games, places like Jacksonville, Tennessee. I mean, it's Washington that night. It was, they're part of our team too. So we appreciate them. As many that could be there would be great.
Brian, you offensively against Minnesota, you looked a lot different than you have against maybe any other game this year. 42 pass attempts, 30 completions, 3 guys with 8 catches each. Do you feel like that gives them something else to think about? Like, are they going to attack us the same way, or are they going to play like more similar to they did the other 13, 14, 15 games?
I think that's probably a good question for them. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever, I don't know what they think.
Well, what was it about that matchup that made you attack them so differently than everybody else?
Well, I think we do. I think Kafka, the offensive staff, do a good job each week of trying to, look at each game as on its own season and figure out what we need to try to do. Every week's a little bit different. What we did against Washington wasn't the same time first time. The same thing with Dallas. Each week's a different week.
There's been a few reports that teams want to talk to Mike or the head coach and John. You've obviously gone through that process. Like, how do you handle that? What's your advice to him?
Yeah, I've went through it the last 3 years. First of all, I'd say it's an honor, but the biggest thing is focusing on what you have to focus on, which I know Mike will. There'll be a time and place for after the season to talk about that, but that's really a team. You win. Usually when you win people get credit, and I'm happy for the guys that would get that opportunity, but I know where their focus is right now.
Brian, when,
It's with Jefferson and Peterson. They both made really important plays in that game down the stretch in particular. Can your defense be better simply by having seen them so recently, or is there another adjustment there?
No, I mean you got to play well, and he's a dynamic player, and so is PP. He's been a great player for a long time. So you got to do your job well, and they're probably going to still make some plays. I mean, they're really good players do. So I think our focus has to be on us and what we need to try to do.
You think
Brian, there were some reports that you guys added James Washington.
Yeah.
Is that like an insurance policy, or is there any concern about any receiver availability?
No, it's just what we thought was best for the team. Worked them out, and just like we've done throughout the season, add guys that we think could help us.
Have you seen Xavier come back? He missed a lot of time. Has he looked the same to you?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
happy?
Other than the little cast.
Right, but the way he's side to side, his tackling, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's done a good job of staying in shape, and I'm glad he's back.
Because he didn't play the first time. So do you think he can be you're obviously welcoming him back. Do you think he can be a difference in a game like this?
Yeah, I think any player that is a good player for you that hasn't played, and you get him back, you hope that they can help you.
Brian, when you look back on the first game, what's the difference besides the field goal at the end, turnovers?
Yeah, we had 2 of them, but like I said after the game, they made more plays than we did. So you give them credit, you give their coaches credit. They made some more plays in critical times than we did.
Brian, there's been a lot of talk about Minnesota, point differential, the fact that they're winning so many one-possession games. As a coach, when you see that a team is 11-0 in one-possession games, what does that tell you about them?
That they make plays when it matters the most, and that the coaches do a good job of putting them in play, that they're consistent, that they play for 60 minutes. They're tough out.
How do you feel Evan Neal has played the last month? And just curious why you played the other day. Is that like a young player, more snaps?
Yeah, we had our plan. I thought it'd be good for him to get a good half of work in. I think he's improved since he's been here. I have a lot of confidence in Evan, as I do with all the other guys on the line.
Take a couple more.
You
got
proceed sticking with the rotation at left guard for the playoffs?
Yeah, we've talked about that, so we'll continue to talk about that. But again, I have confidence in both those guys.
There's probably a lot of people who think that you guys are playing with house money here, and it's already been a very successful season getting to the playoffs. I'm guessing you don't share in that opinion?
Yeah, I'd say we're 0-0. It's a new season, so we got to do a good job of preparing and practicing the right way to play our best on Sunday.